Jeff, you talking shit. We about to jump in. Now, y'all go in the ring and do 6 rounds.
That's it. Thanks for your attendance today. Really do appreciate it. I'm sure you'll agree. You know, that was 2 world-class heavyweights in the ring tonight, and an absolute masterclass and professional job needed to be done against a dangerous heavyweight. There's no point taking ridiculous chances at this level because you know one slip, you know, it can be all be over, especially in the heavyweight division and especially at world level. So. Let's go straight to the floor. Any questions, please?
You have to be wary, Tyson, obviously, because Kevin's dangerous, but you're frustrated about finding him there?
No, not at all, you know. I studied Kevin, so did Peter, and he's a slippery, awkward guy. I'm going to throw hell for leather when there's no target to beat, you know. Just going to stick to my game plan. Promised Peter I wouldn't go wild and let my heart get the better of me, and I didn't. I stuck to my game plan. Boxed, and I was happy with the performance. I was got a nice 12 rounds, and that's just going to bring me on leaps and bounds, take me to another level. You know, you can fight 20 bums and knock them all out. Doesn't mean anything, you know. You need the rounds against experienced campaigners like Kevin.
Do you think 12 months ago, Tyson, you couldn't have given him a clear performance like that against the Kevin?
12 months ago, Kevin would have stopped me inside 6-7 rounds because I'd have been attack, hit his gloves, arms, and defence. Tired after 5 rounds, and if I got stopped, I'd have been that tired, he'd come on strong and stop me, for sure.
Kevin, you said you learned from the Klitschko fight that you had to give more in the ring. Do you think you could have given any more tonight, or was Tyson just too good?
It's not that he was too good. I was prepared for everything. I'm a natural at this thing. I don't need to study certain guys. I don't need a lot of time to go in and do A, B, and C. The hardest part about this kid was just actually, he moved. He moved and he held. And I actually thought he was going to bring the fight. He didn't. He took the little man's approach and tried to box. Well, excuse me, he did box. He did box. And couple of things I did wrong, but you know, it's too late to complain about that. But you know, I did everything necessary to try to set up that shot that I knew he would be vulnerable for. And it was pretty hard to set up the killer shot when he wouldn't walk into him. But when you try to engage into him, he did something totally different, which I didn't even expect that with the with tonight's performance. I didn't expect that at all. But one thing I did do, I definitely pressed the action, which I never done in boxing history. I never pressed the action. And I actually came out for him, you know, and he let his hands go. And he landed some real clear shots that I was expecting. I mean, I have one of the best chins in boxing, so I never one time was worried about being hurt by the kid, because being able to punch and being able to hurt me is impossible. There's 2 different things. He can punch, but he can't hurt me. So I knew I can press all night, but pressing will make you lose like I lost tonight, because you can't just press. So they had a brilliant strategy for the first time that he stuck to, and he's right. I mean, had this would have been months ago, and he would have stuck to his original game plan like he fought previously, he would have fell for a couple booby traps that I was looking for tonight, but not one. He created a couple times. He created a couple times, and he paid for it just a couple. So that's how many times he really created it.
Jeff, would you reassess your view of Tyson after tonight?
Well, I mean, I take my hat off to Tyson Fury and his team. I think they did a great job. For a big man, he let his hands go. Real high punch output, and he kind of impressed me with the angles that he used. You know, from time to time he would switch, use angles. So I mean, I was more impressed than what I've seen before.
Kevin, after being doing 12 rounds with Vitaly Klitschko before, and now 12 rounds with prospect and Tyson Fury, do you believe that Tyson is a future world champion as himself and his team proclaiming to be?
Well, that's what we fought for. For me to say he's a future champion, he has to go through the champion. I can't predict him fighting. I've been in with Vitaly before. I've been in with him before. To actually being in there, I can actually see how the fight will go, and I can actually see who will win. But what he did with me and to fight Vitaly totally different. He can be champion because the way they switched up his game plan with me, you never know what they do for Vitaly. But if he stick to his game plan that he has now, he won't beat Vitaly. But like they did with me, a lot of people said the same thing about me. He won't beat me, no problem. But look what he did. They switched it up beautifully. He was doing stuff that I did. Hit behind the shoulder, roll back, work the jab beautifully to the body, up and down. You know, he did stuff that I did. They did their homework. So with Klitschko, they're going to do totally different things. So I really can't say will or won't he become champion. I know it'll be a beautiful fight. And on a scale of 1 to 10, does he have a great chance of becoming champion? Yes, I'll give him about a 7.5. And that's better than what I'll give anybody.
Was there any of you that wanted to outdo the Klitschko's, Tyson, and stop him?
No, I ain't here to try and beat records or try and do anything. I'm here to win, and that's what I've done tonight, you know. I come here with a game plan, executed it perfect. And to answer Kevin's question, I'm not a one-trick pony, you know. I don't go to do the same things every time. Obviously, like if you look at my last 3 or 4 fights, 4 or 5 different game plans in all of them, you know, southpaw, switching, moving, standing, fighting. I'm the whole package, you know. I can box, move, fight, come forward, slip, slide. And he's right. I did. We looked at it how he boxed, and this guy here is the most awkward guy in heavyweight boxing. Nobody can land clean shots on Kevin Johnson. You can land soft shots, but like he said, his best things are his eyes. He sees everything. When you go to load up, boom, 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 can't get him. We looked at his defence and the way he fights, and thought, yeah, good style of fighting. We'll have a bit of that. And that's what you saw tonight. You saw the shoulder rolls, you saw hide behind the shoulder, you saw the right hand protecting the chin, you saw the jab and come back, moving off to the right. You know, and it's a beautiful game against a shorter fighter. But he's right, you can't do that against somebody 6'8". With Vitaly, total different game plan. These are all going to have to see and wait what's going to happen next.
Tyson, just suppose kind of performance tonight, you know, it was about skills, it was being patient, you know. Is that something you expect maybe in the world class you're going to have to be that way?
You know, world-class boxing isn't domestic level. You know, you can go in and blow away some fat man or some man who's on steroids. You know, when you've got a slippery world-class fighter, you can't just go in there and hit him with single shots and land on them. You've got to set them up. The difference in a world-class fighter and a domestic level, miles different. You've seen it in tonight's performance. The problem is, you step up levels, you get 2 boxers, it's not an exciting fight, you know. We both had a job to do in there tonight. We're not there to faff around, we ain't there to bore people, but we are there to win, to get a W, and we'll do whatever it takes to win, you know. But I thought I boxed to a good game plan, thought everything went well. Credit to my Uncle Peter again, great strategy, great training, you know. This guy's come from nowhere, he's turned me into a machine. Just a big guy, 290 pounds or 20 stone, yeah. And turned me into an athlete. Look at the shape I was in tonight, the fitness on me. May you work great. It's unbelievable. I'm really, really fit, and the conditioning and all that. It's all down to Peter. You know, we do everything ourselves. Well, he does that, what he's supposed to do, and I do my end, and the rest God does. We can only train as hard as we can train. The rest is up to the big fella.
Peter, what sort of statement do you think Tyson has made tonight? How happy are you with the performance?
Well, I think Tyson has made a very big statement because, like I always said at the press conference before, I've always given Kevin Johnson the height of respect. Kevin Johnson's a world-class opponent, you know, and you stand in front of him and he will give you problems. You know, tonight he knew he wasn't going to win on points, he was coming for a knockout. So what I said to Tyson, I said, look, let's have a look at him. Boxing, give him angles, I said, let some shots go up the body. I said, let's assess him. I think we got to the 5th round and I said, this guy's going nowhere. Back off, box. We've had a look at him and soften him up to take him out later on. That was the idea. And then, as I said to him, I said, listen, I said, the guy's going nowhere. I said, just tried him to the body. He's took some good shots to the head and body. I said, this is his game plan. I said, just ease off, box him. I said, no one have a look at him mid-rounds 9 and 10. And I just said at the end of it, I said, look, just box this guy, I said, because he's going nowhere. And that's what we did. But as far as Tyson coming on, he's coming on very well. the sort of little things that I seen there. It's not 100%, but it's getting there.
Peter, you were saying around 6 that you expected him to be gone nowhere. Like, I think around 2nd, Tyson started very aggressively. Was there any part of the fight, maybe even early on, that you thought that Tyson might be able to get a stoppage if he pressed him at all? Or was it
No,
gonna
I've
be
always
okay?
people's asked me for predictions, and I've always said the same thing. I said, look, I said, if there's a stoppage, I said it's going to be late. I said, Kevin Johnson's not a man. Look, you can't walk into world-class fighters. You know, the thing is, was to take Johnson's jab away. That was the idea. And when he was giving him angles, but look, you know, Johnson had a little bit of success when he held his feet. As soon as he held his feet and fired shots back and he went to lean in, Johnson clipped him. You know, and this is what I said to him. I said, look, get back to your boxing, think, relax. You're winning every round. We're not the ones under pressure. I said, Johnson's losing. So that's just box. I said, because we ain't here to try and take a guy out that's never been stopped. You know, he was an awkward guy. Nobody wants Kevin Johnson, let's face it. He's challenged out Deontay Wilders. If I'm wrong, Kevin, tell me I'm wrong. He's challenged out everybody. He's won a Tyson Fury for 2 years. And he's right. The Tyson Fury of old wouldn't have been no good to Johnson. We know that. But also, people underestimate the ability of Tyson. He's a young kid, he's 24. Everybody thinks, yeah, oh, he's this, he's that. I hear what Jeff said earlier, you know, the guy's got no this, no that. You know, and here we are today. His man's lost a landslide. You know, couldn't call Muhammad Ali a boring fighter, could you? Muhammad Ali didn't have a big, tremendous stoppage record, did he? He was the best fighter in the world. Because boxing is about discipline, missing shots, landing shots. That's the old theme of boxing. And we're taking boxing back to where it needs to be. Tyson's got all the ability. He can punch. He's got the range. And we're doing things properly, the way we want to do it. And we're under no pressure. He gets good advice, and we're happy with the performance. I'm a little bit disappointed with John Breen, because John Breen rang me before the fight, and he said, do you mind if I go in Kevin Johnson's corner? He said, I'm not going to say a word, I'm not going to advise him, I'm not going to help Kevin Johnson, I'm not going to say anything, I'm going to pass the bucket, I'm the cut man. I said, John, earn yourself some money, my friend, and get in there. We don't mind. Tyson's been playing the piano with Kevin Johnson. We love fighting, and we respect fighters. So get in there and do it. What I could hear in the corner was something totally different. He was telling Kevin to knock his head off, and do this, and do that. Yeah? Jeff never said a word. So obviously, John must have been trying to impress Jeff because he's a Mayweather. So, whatever it is, I don't know. But as a team and as our family, we're not impressed by anybody. Yeah? We do our own thing, and that's it. And we don't need anybody. We don't need anybody's assistance or anyone's help. Tyson's going to the top, and we'll make sure he gets there. And that's the bottom line.
Let me give you a small correction, because I'm an honest person.
Yeah.
And Green is a good guy, and I can speak on his behalf. And even when you go home and watch the fight,
Yeah.
you'll see at no point in time during the fight did he ever give me a strategic method. Jeff gave me every strategic method to do. Only thing Green advised me to do that you heard was, you're behind, you have to go for the knockout.
I don't think you heard what he said.
Yeah.
He said long left hook, right hand.
He said you
long
got
left hook, right hand.
Yeah, but
And
you, I mean,
Tyson threw it.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite combination. As Tyson knew.
No, you've answered
My
the question,
favorite-
and you're absolutely right.
But listen, my
Well, look,
favorite.
That's
my
not what he
favorite-
agreed to do.
Yeah, my favorite combination to put this guy away, which Tyson already knew, but we can play the fight back in our head mentally. My favorite punch to put this guy away was a check hook and a right hand. That's it. Was no jab right hand. It was no nothing else. He knew it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
it's
wanted me to come forward.
Don't bring him shouting it. I heard him.
I have the fastest left hook in boxing, the check hook ever. But when you go home and watch the fight, you'll see every strategic method, because Green is a good guy. He felt bad to even come into the corner because I feel some type of way. And he told me, I'm very good friends with Fury. I said, Green, I need you for one thing.
Yeah.
That's it. I need you as a cutman, just in case. I told him, I don't cut, so you're not going to have a job.
But he did say you're behind, go and knock him out, correct?
Of course, that's anybody's advice. That's not advice to trade off somebody. I mean, if Jeff was in Fury's corner, the other shoe around,
He was
and
shouting.
Jeff told the guy,
Long left hook.
that's
backhand.
not that's
Simple.
That's not no strategic. Now, if the guy said, go in, stabilize his jab with a jab to the shoulder, then throw the right hand, I would feel disrespectful.
But we got no
because that's
issue
my
with
secret.
it, but John Bree's not
That's
in
my
our
secret.
corner, that's clear.
Yeah, but I mean, you really gotta look at it. He did a good favor. If without Breen, how would the fight go on? I only
We
have
also
one guy.
noticed that John Bree's not here because we're going to ask him a question direct.
Yeah, I mean, all I can do is speak up for the guy. We fought with Breen, with you, or without anybody else. If me and him fought, the fight probably would have went the same way. Because for one, no matter how much time, if you guys call me on 10 days' notice, the fight will go the same way. Because I don't walk around the same way a lot of people think. I don't walk around out of shape. I don't do that. So no matter what it is, if it's a 5-day notice, I will come to the fight the same way. Strategically will be the only failure. Strategically. But the fight would have went the same way. If you guys trained him and left him in a corner to fight 12 rounds, he would have did exactly what he did. And I would have did exactly what I did. Point blank period. The guy was a good guy. He had a better night. He's long as shit. And that's what really held him down. That length. It was unbelievably long. Unbelievable. And not only just unbelievably long, he actually bends it out of harm's way. Where you're supposed to put the right hand right at his shoulder's length, he goes down to his chest length. So the right hand every time slides up. So the things he did had nothing to do with nobody can instruct him the right things to do for what I'm gonna throw, because I don't go by a strategic plan. I go by just eye coordination. If I see the guy doing something, you stick your chin out, I'm gonna pop the shit out you fast as I could and put what I see behind it. That's it. And he was good. I mean, he kept his beautiful distance. He boxed, which was amazing. He really boxed, which is really amazing. I never thought I would actually have to walk forward to somebody and really try to. And not only did he box, the guy was throwing 4 to 6 punches back at you. So you got to worry about punches coming at you, stay on balance, going forward, and getting a shot off. And when you did get a shot off, it was on the inside, and we was getting too close. You need space with this guy. He's very long, and I don't like his elbows.
Mick, where does this leave Tyson? What's going to be next? Can it be a straight world title fight, or what's?
No, I mean,
what do you do next?
He's in pole position with the WBC. Obviously, we need to see what Vitali's going to do. Is he going to continue? Is he going to go into politics? Once that's clear, which he said he would make clear in December, then we'll know the situation. If he decides to hang his gloves up, then Ariola and Stavern are fighting for the vacant title, and Tyson's next in line. If he decides to fight the winner of Ariola Stavern in January, then Tyson will be next against the winner of that. So he's in pole position.
And IOL will be a purse bid fight?
Yeah, when the time's right for the title,
yeah.
we're looking for a purse bid fight, yeah. Because that's the only way someone of Tyson's calibre, someone who's, really had to work to get to where he's at, he deserves his fair share. Not like most of these contenders who are just thrown in and get what they're given, basically. He'll get what he's due by being a mandatory contender.
A question for Mick and Tyson. Would I be concerned to hear a few boos ring out in the Odyssey tonight? What wasn't a huge crowd?
No, not really. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a masterclass. It was against a very dangerous fighter, and Tyson had to fight a smart fight, and I was absolutely delighted he did that, because I know how dangerous this man is. So, sometimes that always, don't go down well, but that's top level elite boxing. So, it had to be done. Me personally, I love that sort of style of boxing. I love, he's got fast feet, he's got blistering hand speed, he can box, he can fight. For me, that's what the greats had. The Ray Lennons, the Muhammad Alis. For me, I love watching that style of fighting. But sometimes people want blood and guts, and you're not going to get it with great fighters. Sometimes.
Do you feel you've shown Tyson without doubt now that the next step has to be a Klitschko? So what you've done tonight?
Next step is Christmas. Forget boxing. I've got all year boxing, I'm just going to take some time off, relax, enjoy my family, enjoy Christmas. I know Peter's already got his holiday booked. He's off to Switzerland maybe. Just enjoy what we've done. We've put a lot of hard work, and we've been training since April, don't forget, away from home, away from everything in Belgium. So it's about time we had a bit of time to think about what we've done, what we've achieved, go back to the table, reassess things. If the world title fight's there, obviously I'll take it. But if not, we'll be looking to do maybe March or February, something like end of February, March again. So we're looking for another step up. Maybe not. I don't think you can get much of a better boxer than Kevin, but somebody maybe bigger and slower, you know, so fans can get what they want to knock out. Maybe Marius Wack, because he's a big guy, and he's 6'8" and about 270. Big slow guy. He'll come forward for a fight. No doubt will tag him with big shots and knock him out.
Tyson, obviously yourself and the elephant in the room, David Price, have fought on the same weekend, and last night he got a knockout in 2 over
50-year-old guy.
Matt Skelton. Tonight you fought out. How do you feel the two performances compared?
Next question. You can't do what you just did, man. He fought somebody's grandfather last night that he posted knocked out in 33 seconds. What's
Matt Skelton's older than me, and look at my state of me with grey hair.
This guy actually fought a young, good, legit heavyweight. I'm a legit heavyweight step. What's the difference between me and Max Skelton? That's the question I should ask you. Everybody knocked him out. I think your grandfather knocked out Max Skelton a couple of years ago. Can't even put them two.
You know, another thing, everybody mentions David Price because they're tagging on to Tyson's shirt tails, yeah? But David Price is nowhere near Tyson's level. He's not on a world level. If he was, you know, that Hobbit Maloney would be stepping him in with people like Kevin Johnson. Instead, we got an old man in Skelton. And then we may go to Chisora, who's been beat endless times since Tyson took his unbeaten record. You know, we'll have these all tried and tested ones. We'll be so careful. And listen, when he come to me, I said, listen, you can fight. We don't need protection. We don't need anything. Tyson's taking on the best fighters in the world. We've tried to get everybody, yeah, because he's ready. These are learning fights, 50-50 fights. It's not a fight we could say about Johnson. We're going in. He's a stepping stone. It's a 50-50 fight. This is a man at top of his game, 30-year-old, 32, only 2 losses. Prize fighter, I don't even count. I'm not a fan of prize fight, it means nothing. You can see that tonight, it means nothing. So he's had 1 defeat against a world champion, Klitschko, who's still the reigning WBC champion. So these are 50-50 fights we want. So he's come through that, we'll take another step and we'll have a look. If Klitschko's there, we'll take Klitschko. If the money's not right and the business ain't right, what's the rush? He's 24. We don't care. But we're taking world-class fighters. David Price is not even on good domestic level. And, you know, his performance yesterday, yeah? Matt Skelton come forward. The guy couldn't even move out of the way. He was on the back rope, chin up in the air. What would Mr. Johnson have done with that? You know?
How did you assess that performance? Did you see Price's performance?
I've never seen it, but I can gather what he done. You know, he hasn't changed since he was amateur. Really. It's the same 1-2. I think the difference in, I call them European fighters. They just don't move. They're like this, come forward, they throw a 1-2 and a left hook. They pump some weights, they take some steroids.
Let's not forget,
and,
perfect example.
They go forward and throw big shots.
Perfect example we can use, yeah? Jonathan Banks, Seth Mitchell. Jonathan Banks hadn't been, Seth Mitchell, sorry, hadn't been it. He stepped up a level and got in with Jonathan Banks. Same as what Tyson's done here now. And look what happened to Seth Mitchell. Because, as soon as he got it, his whole world collapsed. And that's it. Tyson's been it. Kevin Johnson hit him with a peach of a left hook in the fight. Caught him with the right hand. Tyson's still here. Tyson's been on the floor, got up unfit, and fought back. We know what Tyson's about. We know nothing about David Price. He's overprotected. Yeah? But before that Maloney comes on the table and discusses any fight whatsoever, we want to see Kevin Price earn his right, like Tyson's earning it. So can he have a fight with Tyson? Categorically not. Step up, fight a world-class fighter. Let's have a look at you before you can earn your chance. Simple.
And in fact, Kevin's well known to a UK audience now. He's just gone out on terrestrial TV. So if Price is the real deal, and it's not a massive payday he's looking for, take this man on.
I whoop his ass in a 1-day notice. That's the notice that the postman will get to go to his front door.
It couldn't be better for him. He's gone out to a great terrestrial audience in the UK.
Nick, just as promoter for an official response, obviously there was an offer made with the aforementioned Hobbit last night.
Yeah.
650.
Just ridiculous. Just trying to jump on the back of this man's publicity. That's all it is. He's on terrestrial TV. He's the most talked about heavyweight in the world right now, and they're just trying to jump on the publicity. That sort of thing. If in one breath he says it's a stadium fight, and then he goes and offers that money. Now, if it's a stadium fight and a pay-per-view fight, then he's not even remotely in the ballpark figure. He's not even close. If it's the fight he says it is, so he's contradicting himself by offering that money and saying it's a stadium fight.
What did he offer?
650.
Is that for me, just me, or is that between the two fighters? Because by the time you took the tax away,
yeah,
you may as well not even fight. Pay everybody, take your money, split it between two people.
But look, we did say something. We said that if David Price, Frank Maloney insulted Tyson. He said some things he never should have said. So we basically said that if David Price really wanted to fight and wanted to step up on his own and acknowledge the fact that Tyson was number 3 in the world and had fought better opposition and had more fights than him, if he wanted to acknowledge that and sit at a business table and do a sensible deal, we would do the fight. But they haven't come near or by.
We've also had an agreement here, and the agreement is this, you know, and I don't say things and mess around. This is my nephew, yeah, and obviously Mixie's promoter, and I've got a lot of say in all of this. And at the end of the day, Maloney can never sit and do a deal if he offers $2 million to Tyson. He's not sitting on my table. That's it. Don't call my family chickens, shit houses, whatever, and he knows the truth behind it all anyway. So he's talked himself right off the table. If Price wants to come and fight Tyson, he needs to get in touch with Team Price, meaning his trainer, his manager, or whatever, and speak to Mick Hennessy, because Maloney isn't going to be any part of it. He's not sitting in the same room as me or Tyson for his outburst of what he's been saying. So he can goad and do as much as he likes. He's not sitting down, that promoter, in any part of this team. That's a fact.
Peter, it's meant to be frustrating though. Like, I mean, we're about to ask about it, people, the public are about to ask about it because Price and Tyson are seen as rivals. Like,
Yeah.
surely you'd like him to have the opportunity to beat him.
Well, if Price wants to fight, he can pay Maloney out of his purse. Let them come and do the negotiating.
Can I just say one thing?
Going to do it.
I've moved up to WBC number 1. Yeah, WBC number 1. Price is British champion. Where's the comparison, sir? You know, I've got one and one for. Well, this is an eliminator for the WBC. This isn't eliminator for the Commonwealth title or the British title. I won them 2 years ago.
I mean, why are we even talking about Matt Skelton anyway?
Look, if the tally continues, will you get Tyson out again in March, April against another top 10 fighter?
Listen, I think, you know, we've spoken about this to you know, lengths. We would love the Vitali fight. Absolutely love it. The Vitali fight, you know, if he continues and he wants to sit down and be fair, that fight will happen. And they know that as well. Burns Book knows that. I've actually spoke to him about it, and he said he's going to let me know. He was originally going to let me know at the end of, I think it was October, and then it got extended to December. So, you know, I'm going to be putting in a call in the next couple of weeks to see.
Yeah, but if Vitali continues, does he have to straight away fight the winner of the ROE fight, or can you get in?
If Vitali was going to continue, we could make a fight probably as early as April, because you know, the final eliminator is taking place in January.
Yeah.
So there would be time to do it. But then again, you've got to think about, you know, a fight like Vitali really is a stadium fight. So you've got to be looking from May until July. So there is that conflict.
And can I also say, Vitali is an old man. He's 41, 42-year-old. He ain't the same Vitali that fought Kevin Johnson. Derek Chisora, a journeyman, took him and pushed him close. Yeah. This other guy, whatever his name is, Manuel Char, was landing shots on him. Anybody with a pair of eyes can see Vitali is there. He's on his way down now. Yeah. He will not fight me. I'll have any money, says Vitali Klitschko, will not step in the ring with Tyson Fury. He'll hang his gloves up first. And as a challenge, I want you, Vitali, or your brother Vladimir. Let's get it on. Yeah? I can't say any more, yeah? That is it. He won't fight me, for sure. He's on the slide, a young 6'9" up-and-coming heavyweight. He ain't going to fight me, he's going to pack it up. And if his brother wants to step in his place, let's get it on. I beat him once in a sauna, let's have it in the ring.
Nick, what's Tyson's future in Ireland? Like, obviously the attendance wasn't probably as good as maybe previous fights, but it's obviously still got plenty of big opportunities in front of him. He's going to be back soon.
Look, this is boxing, and sometimes we have to roll with things. You know, opponents mess you about, opponents pull out, and it's hard. You know, the boy stuff thing was a big letdown to us.
Pussy Boysoff.
And there was
Swallowed.
yeah, exactly. And there was a big buzz in Ireland before, you know, when that was happening. So, you know, the problem was, you know, start. The main thing was to keep the fight together. This was a WBC world title eliminator. Tyson needs to fight because he's been training so hard. So we took the decision to go through with it no matter what. We knew the attendance wouldn't be great. And you know, we're in a recession. We're coming up to Christmas, and the opponent that everyone was looking to pulled out on us. But you know, I must say, I always really liked the Boysoff fight, and I fancied that Tyson would knock him out in 6
You know,
rounds.
Boysoff, yeah, struggled with Madelone.
Yeah.
Vinny Madelone give him a 50-50. It could have been a draw in Germany, but he lost every round on the cards. I played with Vinny Madelone. He didn't land a punch on me. Yeah. Kevin Johnson would destroy Boysoff. He wouldn't land a punch. Wouldn't land a punch. He's a come forward fighter, straightforward and throws hooks. How are you going to beat a world class fighter like that? Jab and move. A jab is his worst nightmare. Yeah, he ain't going to fight me. He had 8 weeks' notice. He took this fight. He agreed the money, agreed everything. They must have took a look at me on video and thought, no, we're not going to take that fight. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to name and shame all the heavyweights that turned this down. Yeah, on a lot of notice. Dennis Boysoff, Thor Hamer. Who else, Peter? Ruslan Shagayev. What's the big tall American? Michael Grant. Agreed. He said, I'll take Tyson and I'll knock him out. Yeah. Mick Hennessy said, right, let's do it. Got on the phone to him, made a million excuses. Let's do a double fight, Bill, and then we fight each other. Yeah. Million excuses. There was a couple more. Who else was there?
We offered it to Adamek as well.
Thomas Adamek. Yeah. He'd fight anybody. He's a tough warrior. Yeah. He only wants the TV rights for the UK and Ireland and everywhere else as well. So he priced himself out of fights. That ain't going to happen. Fast Eddie Chambers offered to fight. He's moved down to cruiserweight instead. Who else can I fight? I've offered the world's best fighters. I think Eddie Chambers and Kevin Johnson's style is the best style for boxing. It's called sweet science. It ain't called lead forward with your face and get punched in it. It's called sweet science, boxing and moving. If I can beat guys like that, big stiff guys ain't going to beat me. I've got too much movements, too much speed. You know, these other fellas, they just don't stand a chance. If I can beat and land shots on Kevin Johnson, how am I not going to land them on some stiff guys like that there? I mean, his job's like that. It's not going to happen. This is why they don't want to fight. And I don't blame them. Because I have been in some serious training camp. Like I said before, we'll adjust to any style. Any more fighters that we offered to fight to?
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah. He stepped in with Seth Mitchell instead, which I don't blame him because it was a big fight in America on HBO.
He's been offered the fight a few times over a long period of time, yes.
There's been a lot of so-called top fighters, all offered on plenty of notice. Not one of them stepped forward. There's your man who stepped forward.
Povetkin, was he offered fight?
Povetkin is a complete pussy. Povetkin don't want no part of me. I've been after Povetkin when I was a fat, out-of-shape kid, and I'd have beat him then. Let's see what he can do, Povetkin, WBA, paper champion. Bring him to the table. Let's see if he wants a fight. I don't think he does. He's been offered it a load of times. If he does, I'll sit him on his head.
David Hay, was he offered?
David Hay. Everyone saw me say, David Hay, 2 months notice. Get your ass over to here. I said, we'll take the fight. I said, you're always going on about fighting Vladimir. You've got no WBC ranking. I'm number 3. If you beat me, you'll be number 1. You get your shot. You'll be mandatory. No, he said, I'd rather not. I'd rather not fight anybody if I'm not going to fight a Klitschko. So that was David Hay as well. So
He'd fight him in the jungle if he wants.
well, there you go. So these are the world-class fighters, and nobody wants to step up. So what can you do? Kevin Johnson took the fight. He stepped up. He got in there. Can I say as well, he's the most entertaining man I've ever met. This guy, yeah, I can learn a lot of this guy. I think Mick needs to hire him to teach me.
Plays the piano well.
He plays the piano. He talks. He needs a TV show. I don't know what he doesn't need. He can definitely entertain people.
What did you sing anyway? Because we didn't get to see it ourselves.
Would you want me to sing it again?
No, don't do it.
Are you ready?
Go on then.
It must have been cold there in my shadow. Never had sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine.
that you always want to stand behind. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be, I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. X Factor, eat your heart out.